And pleased to be joined now on Coach's Corner by head boys track coach Greg Wickett. Coach, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Kind of wrapping things up a little bit, let's go back to conference where Humboldt really stepped up with a lot of competition there, and you knew it could really go anyway with how competitive things were in this conference. I thought it was a strong performance by the Cats considering that.
Yeah, and this is obviously, I think, the best meet and the best competition that we're going to see short of the state track meet all year. And we kind of set the goal at the beginning of the year to finish in the top half of the conference and get in fifth place. So we did that, and so it was nice to reach that goal. This is a meet that we know is always going to be really close, and just a few points. I thought at just a few points we're going to maybe separate about 6 teams there in the middle of the pack somewhere, and we definitely finished in a good position. Logan started things off nice for us in the shot put, winning that. Getting in there for I think a second place or in the discus. Dane was a conference champion in the highs. That was a great race, by the way, too. Mm-hmm. They had to go to the videotape to actually figure out who won that thing. They actually picked the Webster City kid before us, and we looked at the tape, and Dane had got him in the lean. That was a great job that he did there. Scow really stepped up in the 100. He got second place in there. We thought for an apparent record, we had a school record. We thought there for a while. Realized that he was had the record for the 98-meter dash as opposed to the 100-meter dash, but he did a great job in that field of guys, getting second place out of the second heat, which was the first heat actually. So that was really good to see. I thought Olthoff really ran well in the mile. We got a good medley out of those guys that ran the medley. Brandon Myers anchor in that thing, and then Blake, his brother, came back nice in the 800 to score some points. But overall, that was a great night for us to run. It was kind of a crummy night. It was kind of cold and sort of half rainy, but it's fun to see them step up at the right time. You're always trying to peak those guys at the right time, get them some rest just before that for them to come up and give one of their best performances of the year. And I thought up until that point, that was our best performance of the year. But and St. Ed's was hosting that thing, and I appreciate Greg Thomas and saying it was okay for us to loan him our track for the night, which was a nice thing for us as a team, because we get to run a conference meet in a year we're not supposed to run on our home track. We get to run on our home track, and Coach Thomas, at the beginning of the year, we figured that out, and that's a lot of work for him, and I appreciate him doing that. Lori Westhoff, she was running the results up in the booth, and it was awful nice to her and Terry Smith even run the finish line. We had our people in some of the key positions in there to help out. St. Ed's doesn't run a lot of track meets, about one every 10 years, and so to have our people in the key positions in that, I thought made it a pretty good meet, and I appreciate their help.
And from there, really didn't have any travel at all that week, hosting districts as well. And to me, the fun thing about districts is to see some of the names that maybe you don't expect stepping up, or where people are going to fall, and to see some of the names that qualified for districts from your team. It was a lot of fun, especially because those results kept coming in early and kind of gave you a chance to build some momentum early on.
Yeah, and it was an unusual week for us, to have conference and district at your home track, no travel. That's a huge advantage, and it was nice to get that too. We had a great night as far as weather goes, but boy, we had some guys stepping up that right away in big ways. I thought, our discus, Logan winning the discus on one of his last throws. I'm not sure if it was his last or second to last throw, but 153, when that flew out there, both my dad and I were standing over there watching, and just both of us at the same time, whoa, and you could just tell it was pretty big, and it was nice to have him really hitting those at the right time. Jason Edge, too, had really come on as the year went on, and I kept telling him, I've got him in my pride, my homeroom at school, and I kept telling him all year, you can qualify out of this district. You can qualify, and he started to believe it, and he did. He threw his best of the year on his last throw to get in there by about a foot, and it was great to have him get down there. And one of the things nice about having a younger guy get down there is you get in that ring down at state for the first time. As a young guy, the second and third times, maybe as a junior and senior, you get in that ring down there, you're not as kind of intimidated by it, because it's got a lot of net down there. It's a long ring, and the first time in it is a little bit tough, but it was a good night for us. We kind of took the momentum that we started in the conference meet and just kind of continued things. Our shuttle hurdle was we got in there. They were pretty nervous bunch of guys. You know, we were sitting in the third position all year with the shuttle, and knew we just had to run what we'd run before, and they stepped up and did that, and it was great. Brandon Tildes in the long jump, that was another big question mark we had because he had pulled his hamstring down at Dodger Relays on running the 4x1. Didn't even jump at conference. We agonized over that decision whether or not to let him jump at conference or hold him out and give him another couple days rest. In the end, I think we made the right decision. We ended up not needing the points that he would have gotten anyway in the conference, but he really did a good job of rehabbing his hamstring and had himself in a position to not totally healed, but enough to get in there with a jump, and really proud of him for doing that. Scow was another person we really agonized over some decisions, you know, whether or not to put him in the 100, the 200, or the 400. We knew he was going to run the medley and the shuttle, but you know, we decided at the last second kind of to pull him out of the 100 because it looked like a tough field, and I think that was the right decision and keep him in the 400. He was actually beating a couple of state champions around that last corner in the 400. I thought he was going to win that thing. So he ran a great time, 51, I think 08. That was a great time, and it was nice to see him do that and get in there for that thing. And then you know, Dane in the highs, it was good to round that out. He'd been sitting in there about second in the district all year, battling out with the Webster kid. Back and forth, and he got Dane that night, but Dane got second to get him in. And so, you know, you feel really good for the kids that got in. There's always a couple things that you wanted to get in and didn't, get a few more kids down there. I thought our 4x8 guys had busted their tail all year, and they really did. They're only sophomores, all of them, and Coach Juergens had those guys all year and really abused them in practice, and they took everything he threw at them. And it's, you know, sometimes the kids that some kids that really deserve to go down don't quite get it in there. They got in there for a fourth, and the nice thing about that though is they're young. They're going to keep working like that, and if they keep working like that, they'll be down there next year. They really improved a ton this year. We ran our best time at districts in the 4x8 by about 6 seconds. So you know, they're doing all the right things. They just got to be a little patient. It's tough sometimes, but they'll get down there, I think, eventually.